Hi ladies, how's it going? I hope this finds you well and that you've had a good start to your week. We're drowning in rain here in Vancouver, so I hope that wherever you are, the weather is a little bit friendlier than it is here. Because with that, people are getting sick, myself included. I've been in bed all weekend. So just slowly getting back up and getting started. So what I wanted to do today is talk to you about fiber, which is the nutrition lesson for week number 3. And yeah, I want to talk about fiber because getting enough fiber through food can be a really big issue for a lot of women. And what it does is it continues to be one of the main reasons why people have blood sugar imbalances is because they don't eat sufficient fiber. And the other thing is that it leads to constipation. Okay, so both of these things are really big problems, and both are linked to weight gain, especially the blood sugar balance. So everything that we're trying to do, everything that we're doing in this program is aimed at balancing your blood sugar. So definitely that's why fiber is so important, and that's why I want to give you the information in addition to what is being discussed in the nutrition lessons online. But I just wanted to go over it with you again to summarize it and maybe give you some information that you might have overheard or overseen in the nutrition lessons. So what you always want to do is keep in mind that you want to always aim to eat 25 to 35 grams of fiber every day. And ideally aiming for the 35, but try to just first get to the 25 if fiber is an issue with you or for you, sorry. Now, how do you know how much fiber you're currently consuming? That's where your food journal is really important. You want to write down the portions that you're eating so that you can actually calculate the amount of fiber that you're consuming. Now, this is not something that you have to do every day or every week, but if you do it one time for a day that is quite typical for you food-wise, calculate it one time so that you can have an approximate idea of the amount of grams that you are consuming in a day, okay? I'm super happy to help you out with this. So if you have filled out your food journal, just send it over my way. And then I can do those calculations for you if you feel that that's something that you don't feel very comfortable with, all right? So I have not received a lot of food journals, so I'm assuming that not a lot of you are completing them. I do love it when you share it with me, when you share your wins with me, so thank you very much when you do that. If you haven't yet done so, please feel free to reach out and just let me know how things are going with you, okay? So I found that generally, going back to fiber, is that when clients don't consume enough fiber at lunchtime, that's when blood sugar tends to still be an issue, okay? Now, just as to refresh your memory, as a reminder, what are the signs of blood sugar imbalance? Okay, the signs of blood sugar imbalance are mood swings. You can get hangry. So when you're hungry and you kind of get a little bit irritable before you eat anything, that's a sign of blood sugar imbalance. If you're fatigued or you experience lulls in the afternoon, that can be a very big red flag for blood sugar imbalance. Also, if you tend to have carb cravings, that's something that you want to look out for, another sign of blood sugar imbalance. And even restless sleep can be a sign that your blood sugar is not where it could be ideally, okay? So look out for those things, and if you experience any of them, then just, again, focus on balancing your blood sugar by always eating a protein, a carb, and a fat with vegetables, so with fiber. at every meal. That's your go-to. That's why we do this. That's why we have the portion control for every meal, it's to help you balance your blood sugar. And then keeping your fiber up. So if you do all those things and you still notice that your blood sugar is not where it should be, then you're probably just not consuming enough fiber, okay? If you currently don't eat a lot of fiber, you want to add it into your diet slowly, okay? Why? If you add it too quickly, it can actually lead to constipation, and that's something that you want to avoid. Also, if you're not used to eating a lot of fiber, don't start just eating raw vegetables all the time, because that can lead to a lot of bloating, because your digestive system is not used to digesting those things. And raw vegetables, as great as they are, they're really hard to digest, especially if you suffer from a lot of stress, if you have a sluggish digestive system, then you're going to be really, really bloated if you just start eating raw vegetables all the time, and that includes salads, okay? So, yeah. The other thing that I had mentioned is that fiber is really important for regular bowel movements. Now, the key to regular bowel movements is drinking sufficient water. So you want to get in like between 1.5 liters to 2 liters a day. You want to eat a lot of fiber, so that's the 25 to 35 grams every single day. You want lubrication as well, and that comes from healthy fats. So we also always include a fat in your meals. Movement is very important for regular bowel movements as well. So you want to be active yourself, move, not just sit all day, which is something that I've been very guilty of lately. And you also want to make sure that you have good bacteria in your intestine, okay? That's where the whole talk about probiotics comes in. Usually our gut bacteria is balanced if we consume a lot of fiber, if we have regular bowel movements, we eat healthy vegetables, and we stay away from sugar and white or processed carbohydrates. Now, this doesn't happen a lot, so most of us actually have gut dysbiosis is what it's called. So we don't have enough of the good probiotics. And there's a lot of things that can be done, but that's not the topic of today's conversation. I'm going to get you all confused, and that's a whole other subject that we can talk about when we get into supplements. So don't worry about that too much. What we are aiming for right now is just to get our fiber intake up, okay? Also, as a reminder, I said you want to always have regular bowel movements. What does that mean? That means that you should be having a daily bowel movement, okay? Ideally in the morning. That's if you have a bowel movement every day in the morning, then that means that your digestive system is actually functioning quite well. For a lot of people, having 3 bowel movements a week is normal and an amazing achievement. And doctors actually also say that that's within the norm, but that's not good. If this is you, then yeah, do look at your water intake, look at your fiber intake, and also look at your movement, your daily movement. How much are you physically active every day? You don't have to, doesn't mean that you have to go running, that you have to go to the gym every day, but it does mean that you have to walk a little bit more and just get your body in motion, okay? Now, comparing fiber, or when we talk about increasing fiber, my mind always goes to, eating more veggies, eating more salad. So I'm assuming that that's what you are thinking as well. But I've actually written down some fiber sources here that I'm going to be sharing with you to actually let you know how surprising, like what are the good sources of fiber, right? Because if you're only consuming about 10 grams of fiber a day, eating 1 more carrot is not going to bump you up to 35 grams of fiber to reach your goal, okay? So it actually does take quite a bit of work to get those 35 grams of fiber in. The key to doing that is by eating as many whole foods as possible. So by whole foods, we always mean foods in their natural state that nothing has been removed from them and nothing has been added, okay? So for example, white rice is not necessarily a whole food because all the fiber of the rice has been removed. So you want to eat brown rice if fiber is an issue for you. Increasing the amount of veggies that you eat is also great, and fruits, but you want to also look at maybe things like legumes, because they are actually really high in fiber, and that's what I want to get to right now. So in comparing fiber sources, I've always taken the measurement of half a cup, and I want to share with you how much fiber is in half a cup of the following products. Okay, so lettuce, I was saying that's kind of the thing where we're like, oh, I need to eat more fiber, so let me eat some more salad. A half a cup of lettuce has 0.3 grams of fiber. Okay, so if you're trying to get up to 35 grams of fiber, eating half a cup of lettuce is not going to get you there. Now, carrots would be the other one where you're like, okay, it's kind of the typical vegetable that a lot of people eat, especially with weight loss. Somehow we always connect it to weight loss because the carrot is something that you can snack on. Half a cup of carrots has 1.8 grams of fiber. Okay, so that, again, is not a lot. If we look at things like an apple, for example, so I did look for a medium-sized apple, which is, if you chop it up, it's probably going to be a half a cup or a little bit more, but a medium-sized apple has 4.4 grams of fiber. Okay, so that's kind of a measurement that we can work with, and then now you know that's why it's so important to consume fruits, not just because of their amazing micronutrient content, so they have great antioxidants, lots of vitamins and minerals, but they're also a wonderful source of fiber, and it's also a fiber that's very soft on the bowels. So if you're not used to eating a lot of fiber from fruits is very easy on your digestive system, okay, as opposed to maybe leafy greens, which are very hard and they can act more like a rake and lead to more bloating in the system. Half a cup of oatmeal, that's kind of my go-to breakfast. So that's something that I actually wanted to look into as well. Half a cup of oatmeal has 2.2 grams of fiber. And the winner for the highest fiber content is actually the half a cup of beans. Half a cup of beans contain 8.3 grams of fiber. Okay. So if you are really far away from reaching that 25 grams of fiber or 35 grams of fiber that you want to consume in a day, maybe adding a half a cup of beans to your lunch as your source of carbohydrates would be a really great place to start. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. Let me know if you're really relieved that it's not all about the veggies, but you can actually have the half a cup of beans to really up your fiber intake. If you have any other questions about this subject, please let me know. Don't hesitate to ever reach out. Again, you make my day when you do let me know about your wins. Yeah, and I'll be hopping back on this week to talk about exercise. So if you have any questions in advance that you want to ask me about exercise, then feel free to email them to me and I can address them in the video at the end of the week. All right, have a wonderful day.